Sports Center.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the fall semester finale of Colonial Sports Center. We have a great show today for everybody at home. My name is Brett McGulick, joined by my partner in crime, as always, Joe Dramasic. Joey, it's basketball season. It's going to be a good one.
It's basketball season. We were talking a lot about basketball today, but also it's Christmas time. It's the holiday season. Got some Colonial wish lists coming our way, so pretty big show today.
Yes, stay tuned for that. But right now, let's kick things off with the women's basketball team as they face a 4-game road trip and unfortunately are on a 2-game losing streak at this moment. But they went up to Mercyhurst to face the winless Lakers in a much-needed win. Let's see how will the Colonials fare in this matchup. We got the highlights coming your way. As we start off with Aislinn Malcolm, put the Colonials on the board down 3, and we keep going here. Noah Gavone gives it to Aislinn Malcolm to Jada Lee in the paint, and she goes all the way around, but that one's not going to make it. Lake Fields gets the rebound and puts up the bucket.
We're going to be seeing a lot of Fields highlights tonight. She had a huge game.
She did, and that's going to continue here. Colonials in the lead. She puts up another 2. We're going to keep going. Colonials putting the offensive pressure on, and it is Lake Fields once again. As we continue, Colonials battling hard in the paint here. Up high to Aislinn Malcolm. She steps in, finds Fields in the paint, and she puts up another one. That is 3 in a row for her. The Colonials keep going. And then Aislinn Traore finds Mallory Daly for a bucket. The Colonials keep putting the pressure on here.
Yep, a lot of pressure by the Colonials just trying to extend that lead. We've seen Aislinn Malcolm, 3-pointer right there. Bang. Big-time shooter there.
Now Mercyhurst down 7. That is Jenna Van Schaik layup for the Lakers to put a little bit of pressure back on the Colonials. But Lake Fields, again, puts up another bucket. It's on these things write themselves.
Huge game.
She's been having an amazing game so far.
Huge game for her.
As we keep going here. Malcolm to Lake Fields once again. I'm going to sound like a broken record here. It has been all Lake Fields here. Now Jada Lee is going to get in on the paint action. As we keep going here. Rebound picked up by Fields once again. It has been a fantastic game for her.
But Brett, the Lakers were not done. Huge 3 there to bring them within 2 points of the Colonials late.
Absolutely. We keep going here. The Lakers are going to tie it up at 67 here in the final minutes of this fourth quarter. Jada Lee carries up high. Now Lake Fields once again in the paint. It is almost clockwork at this point, and that would do it. She would get the and one. Colonials go up 73-71. A last-minute shot here would not do it. Colonials win this one, get a much-needed win, and put themselves back into the win column. Few post-game stats. Lake Fields, 24 points, 6 rebounds. Malcolm and Coons both with 10, as well as Traore with 14. Huge game, and nice way to get back into the win column for the Colonials.
Huge win for the women's basketball team, but the men's team actually have been on a successful run as well. As we're going to take a look here, the last 3 games, win over UIC 88-74. Ryan Prather had 25 points in that one, 6 of 9 from 3. Huge there, with the Colonials also having 4 players in double figures, with Prather having 25, Deshaun Good 17, Albert Vargas with 20, and Darius Livingston with 10, while shooting 48% from 3. So big team shooting performance there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big win here for the Colonials. They've been doing well so far this season. Andy Toole is leading his new guys, to a few key wins here.
Yep.
And it's been a lot of fun. But you mentioned Ryan Prather, and he's been a little bit quiet to start the season. But the champ is here, and he's making his presence known finally as Ryan Prather is officially on fire once again. He's been tearing it up, especially in that UIC game. Putting up those 25 points was the career high for him. And as you can see, 69% from the field goal line, and it's been a great to see him back in the points column.
Yeah, then the game for Stenson, 17 points, 55% from the field, going that with 4 assists and 2 rebounds. Looks like the Horizon League champ, the only one on this team from last year, is really kind of pick up his stride. Kind of had a rough game against Southern Utah, only with 5 points, but players have off nights.
Yeah, picking it back up with a nice 17. He's not going anywhere, but we got a chance to sit down with Coach Andy Toole after the game against Stetson. Let's hear what he had to say.
had talked about our starts going into the Monmouth game, and I thought did a good job at the start. We had a couple double-digit leads in that first half, but we're unable to sustain the effort, right? And so for guys today to be able to, get out to another good lead, sustain it throughout the first half, and really, I guess, kind of keep it double digits, I guess, for a majority of the second half, even though it got to be low double digits. I think that was really important. So I think it's just a credit to them in the way that they approached the game today. We're just trying to remind them the importance of every possession. I went in at halftime, and the first thing I said is, this game is so far from over. If you've played for any stretch of time, right, no lead is safe until that final buzzer goes off. And not unfortunately, but you have to sometimes have those experiences, and obviously it's a good position to be in if you're mature enough to continue to play the game the right way. Every win's important. Every time we have a positive experience together as a group, that's hopefully a step in the direction of getting everybody to continue to buy in to how we execute and how we play. And that's the main focus right now. It's trying to just have as many productive, successful days as we can so we can continue to get everybody on the same page and believing in what we're trying to do.
Always great to hear from Coach Toole. But when we come back after break, we'll be talking about the successful weekend in a couple of weeks that both hockey teams here at RMU had. So make sure to stick with us here on Colonial Sports Center.
The death of George Floyd, who died in police custody Monday night.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change, because it just can't be us.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. It has been very busy on the ice for both the men's and women's hockey teams. Let's get things started here with the women's hockey team, as they had two series going on against Lindenwood as well as RIT. Let's get things started here with the series against Lindenwood, as the Colonials would tie the first game and then they would get a huge win in the second game. Breaking down the first game here, nice 2-2 tie to go into this one, and then they would end up winning it in the shootout. RMU would go up 2-1 in the third, but Lindenwood would get a goal just 5 minutes into the third period by Josie Doon Weeks on the power play. Lindenwood only went 1 for 8 on the power play in this game, but that one goal mattered. It sent it into overtime, and the Colonials would get this one out and win this one in the shootout. Moving over to game 2, Colonials would win this one with a huge Maggie Hatch shutout, her second of the season and 5th of her career. Colonials had a successful weekend here, Joey, picking up 5 of 6 possible points, as well as Maya Kearns, the blue liner, would get her first career collegiate goal. So it was a nice weekend, this one, for the Colonials.
Yeah, and then the second game, 2 of the 3 goals for the Colonials came in the third period. So just showing that they're kind of picking up some things together, ending games strong.
Let's move it over to RIT. This past Friday and Saturday night, the Colonials would stay hot, picking up their first win 5-1 against RIT. The RMU's top line, that consisted of Jim Picho, Dionone, and Misner, would pick up 4 out of the 5 goals here. They each combined for 6 points. It was a big one here. And freshman Mary Snyder had her first point as a Colonial, and Hatch went 20 for 29 on shots. And moving over to game 2, unfortunately, the Colonials would not win this one. The Tigers, outlasted a late push from RMU. They would outshoot RIT 33-19, but at the end of the day, could not pick this one up, so the Colonials are riding a loss at the moment.
Yeah, just outshooting the Tigers in both games, but obviously, unfortunately, an unfortunate result in the second game there, 6-3. But get one win at least. Against a pretty decent team, RIT. Always a good thing, to come out with.
Absolutely can't complain about that. But Joey, got some. The women's were not the only team in action here. The men's team also had some action going on this past weekend.
Yeah, last weekend they took on the Mercyhurst Lakers. So let's take a look at how they fared in their 2 games against the Lakers this past weekend. With the first one being a 3-1 win over the Lakers. They started out the game with a goal in the first period, but Mercyhurst would respond with a goal in the second, which was followed then by a dominant third period by the Colonials with 2 goals. Then the second game, a 1-1 draw, but a RMU shootout win 3-2 in that one. The Lakers struck first in the first period, which was then the Colonials would respond in the third with a huge goal by Michael Craig to send it to overtime, and then come out with 5 out of the 6 points over the weekend. Huge for the men's team, who's honestly had a rough start to this season, Brett.
Yeah, especially it has been rough, but these 2 wins have been very crucial to them. Nice thing about their captain, Michael Craig, played a big role in this series, as you said. He's been kind of a Laker killer in his career here for the start. He's put up 8 points in 5 games, but that's not the only thing we have to talk about hockey-wise. We have 2 big awards, 2 Rookie of the Week awards in the AHA. Charlie Schenkel, the freshman goalie, won his Rookie of the Week status. This is the first honor of his career, and he led the AHA last week with a .97 goals against average and a .95 save percentage, 39 saves in 2 games, and this is a huge step up for him. Overall, to start the season, 3 wins and a .896 save percentage. So this was a huge step in the right direction for him.
Yep, and for the women's team, the Women's Rookie of the Week belongs to the Colonials. Lena Misner with 2 goals and 3 assists in the 2 games versus RIT. It's good that both of these players, young players, shining for the Colonials here early in their career.
Yeah, so we've seen some good stuff on the ice, but it's starting to get into Christmas season. It's getting a little bit icy outside, and we need to start making those Christmas lists. So our Christmas list coming up here after this break.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center, and it is December and it is officially Christmas season, so we have a little Colonial Sports Center take on our Christmas list. And joining me for this segment, Casey Irwine and Caden Hyde from the North and South Pole, I believe. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today. How are we doing so far today?
Brett, it's good to be here, but I feel like I missed the memo, guys. I thought we were doing holiday season spirit. What's going on?
Casey, you look great, and I think Caden and I missed the memo, honestly. You look fantastic.
Yeah, you're dressed perfectly for the North Pole.
Yeah. But let's get right into it. Casey, we're going to kick things off with you. You've been covering a lot of the football team as well as the men's soccer team. Their season just ended. So what are you sending up on your Christmas list to Santa Claus in preparation for next season?
Well, Brett, fall sports just ended, but I'm still thinking about them. First up, though, I'm actually going to go with football here, Brett. And for football, my first wish is that they go local at the quarterback position. This season was just too much of a carousel there, and it caused a lot of discrepancies on offense. When you look back at the history of this football team, when they've been good, they've had one true leader at the quarterback position, and most of the time it's been with a local guy. As you think back, with Anthony Chickett, who's from Bethel Park, there were highs and lows for sure, but last season they were 7-5 and averaged 8 more points a game. You can't deny that. You look at the best quarterback in this program's history, Tim Levchik. He's from a little bit south of Katanning, about an hour away from here, and he, like I just said, the best quarterback in this program's history, all right? So whether it's, you go get a guy in the transfer portal, maybe sign a guy local like Ryan Messina, who's a whippy old guy, Elizabeth Forward High School right now, 6'4", 220, a perfect quarterback size in his 4 years as a starter, over 8,000 all-purpose yards and 86 total touchdowns. So maybe get a guy like that. He's gotten a lot of local interest already, or maybe giving Wolf a shot. Jake Wolf, he's only had a few shots. His biggest moment as a Colonial was probably that game against Central Connecticut where he went 9 for 12 in the fourth quarter, scored a touchdown, 130 yards. So they need to go local, go back to where they came from. Now, on to Wish 2, I'm going to go on to men's soccer. Men's soccer, I'm going to keep up with the Christmas spending. They need to go get a true number 9, a true attacker for this team. This season, they had more draws than wins and still made it to the semifinal and lost to the number 1 seed for the Horizon League playoffs. And this team just could not find the goal when they needed it. In that semifinal, they didn't score at all. And for all those draws, they just couldn't find it in the big moments. And now they have a lot of players leaving. Kosi Ude, who was their actual number 9, only scored 2 goals on the season, but he's a senior. Victor Koa only scored 3 goals, but one of their best attackers, actual attackers. I say actual attackers because Anas Hadran was their top scorer on the season. He's a senior. He's also only a midfielder, and attacking midfielder, but he's only a midfielder and still was their top scorer. So last season, they had guys like Chase Gilly, John Paul Mbuthia. That team had 8 more goals and a worse defense than this year. The defense this year was better than last year's defense, the team that won the Horizon and made it to NCAA tournament. So they need to get a guy who can score double-digit goals and be their main threat up front.
Well, thank you, Casey. Seems like you're going to be putting a lot of offense on your Christmas list this year for both these teams. But Caden, I'm going to send it over to you in the South Pole. You've been following both the men's and women's basketball team a lot, being our analyst here on Colonial Sports Center this year. Caden, what are you putting on your Christmas list?
Yes, Brett, and like you said, I'm at the South Pole, one of the coldest places on Earth, but luckily for me, the cold means the basketball season is upon us, and it has been for both the men's and women's teams. To start off with the men's team, there are 2 things I want to talk about, but they fall under the umbrella of playing with better discipline. To start with the larger one first, it has to be how they've been getting into so much foul trouble. They have outfouled their opponents so far this season, 185-40. Which is a minus 45 foul differential. There have been way too many instances of a player reaching into a driving lane and smacking an arm, or someone getting a rebound and pump faking underneath the basket and just dragging every single Colonials defender up into the air only to grab those very easy and one opportunities. However, these fouls have only told a small part of the story. The larger part is the free throw discrepancy. So far this season, the Colonials have been outshot 120-222 at the charity stripe, which is absolutely egregious. So far this season, they were outshot 44-22, a doubling against Iowa. In the win against Drake, they were outshot 32-8. And just recently in the overtime loss against Monmouth, they were outshot 31-8. The only time that they came even relatively close to having the same amount of free throws as the opposing team was against Geneva, a D2 school in their home opener where they tied at 11. So the team has been good so far this year, but if they want to get back to the dance, they gotta send their opponents to the free throw line less and convert more whenever they get there. Then for the women's team, the story so far this season is they have been good. They've been on a bit of a slow stretch recently, coming off of a 2-point victory against the winless Mercyhurst Lakers. But the biggest need they have so far this year is a much larger interior presence. Last season, the players that made that team special, getting them to the semifinals of the Horizon League, was Danny Vuletic, was Maya Murray, and to some extent was Isis Grady. 3 players who made their living getting close to the basket, onto the post, securing rebounds, playing good defensively, getting in close to the basket and playing that bully ball. and they just have really been missing that so far this year. They've been having a rotation of bigs around Bailey Coons and Miriam Traore, two fine players, but not what they had last year. Rebounding, they've still done relatively well. They have a plus 3.9 rebound differential, but you'd like to see it higher, especially against the competition they had this year and as opposed to what they had last year. Offensively, they've been fine. Interior scoring has been the bread and butter of the team historically, and like you guys were talking about earlier, shout out Lake Fields for having a huge game on the inside against Mercyhurst. They're not particularly fantastic at drawing fouls, especially for a team that relies so much on being close to the basket, only heading to the line about 12 times a night, but they have been converting relatively well at a 73% clip. The defense, however, has been the issue. They've been giving up huge games to opposing centers, 28 points to Jessica Carruthers at UIC, 22 to Naira Clark in Akron. Even this past game, 28 to Jenna Van Shake, despite Lake Field's performance. Their perimeter defense is okay. Their only elite defender is Jenica Suggs, leading to blow-bys and easy interior buckets. So if this team wants to get better in conference play, they'll have to become much better at getting close to the basket.
Well, thank you guys. Hopefully you guys have already run those down and sent those up to Santa, because we are getting closer to Christmas now. Hopefully we can make those things happen sooner rather than later. Now it is that time of the show. Whenever we come back on Colonial Sports Center, top 5 plays. Don't go anywhere.
Colonial Sports Center. Let's see it, see. Women's basketball. Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost again. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be floating. If it's something I can count on to be free.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Hello and welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now, Joey, Merry Christmas, man. I got you a gift.
You got me something?
I got you nothing too crazy, just something a little small. But
I feel bad.
I've had so much fun hosting with you this year. I thought I would show you
Brett,
some gratitude.
Got you something. We got a notebook.
Look at the front.
Oh, top
5 plays. Woohoo! Let's get right into it. Kicking things off at number 5. We're gonna head over to the hardwood against Mercyhurst. Traore sends it out wide. Noah Gavone is gonna give a few stutter steps, and Traore with a big bucket in the paint. She's playing some bully ball, like Caden said. Nice bucket there to put the Colonials up in front.
Beautiful play there, but here we're going to go at number 4 to women's hockey. Jan Petro is in the shootout here. She's waiting to take her shot. She scores the winner for the women's hockey team over Lindenwood in the shootout.
That's a big goal. We're going to keep it on the ice against Mercyhurst. RMU is down 1, less than 5 minutes left to go, and Michael Craig shoots and scores. The Laker killer strikes again, sends it to overtime for the Colonials. That is the teddy bear toss goal, and that would eventually give the Colonials a big shootout win. Michael Craig comes up big.
And at number 2 here in the second game of the Urban Bennett Invitational, Ryan Playfair from deep, 4-3, bang there. Oh wait, but there's more. He's on fire, bang! Ryan Prather Jr. once again, 6 straight points, 17 points for the game.
Cha-ching for Prather. He picks up 2 big ones. We're going to take it back here to November 22nd, the Army's last football game. Kai Holloway, 61-yard punt return touchdown to take the lead against Cross City rival Duquesne. Huge lead gain there for the Colonials.
Yeah, you know, just for him sending off his career there with a touchdown in the fashion that he did, huge play there.
Absolutely, yeah. Unfortunately, Colonials, that would end their season. That would end the football season. As we see here as well with basketball and hockey, there's a lot of good to come around here.
Yeah, a lot of big notable games coming up over the winter break for us Colonial students. So let's send it over to Penelope Shriver, who has the break notable games here at RMU.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with some notable games from December and January. Starting off, we have a men's basketball game where they'll be having their Horizon League opener against Green Bay, December 4th at 7 p.m. And then we also have another men's basketball game at Milwaukee, December 6th at 8 p.m. This is a big one for the Colonials because Milwaukee was named the favorite in the preseason. Next, we have men's hockey team where they'll be rematching the Air Force December 6th and 7th, at 9 p.m. on Friday and 6 p.m. on Saturday. Next up, we have the women's hockey team, same weekend at Syracuse, 6 p.m. on Friday, 3 p.m. on Saturday. This is a big one for the hockey team because Syracuse is coming off of a 3-game win streak. Ending our December, we have women's basketball against Oakland, December 30th at 4 p.m. This is a big game because they're both really competitive teams. Next up, we have, moving on to January, we have women's basketball at Green Bay, January 4th at 2 p.m. This is a big game because it's another big one against two top Horizon League teams. Next up, we have men's basketball team with a huge rivalry against Oakland, January 4th at 3 p.m. And then another women's basketball game against Purdue Fort Wayne. This is a big one for the Colonials in conference play, January 8th at 6 p.m. Next up, we have the women's basketball team with a huge rivalry against Youngstown, January 21st at 6 p.m. And then one of my personal favorites, we have women's hockey at Penn State, January 30th and 31st. The 30th at 12 p.m. and 31st not determined yet. This is a big outdoor game for the Colonials, so excited to see it. That's all I have for your guys' notable games for the break. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Penelope. Honestly, I think I might be just as excited as you are for those two outdoor games against Penn State. Joey and I were sitting here thinking about it. There are a bunch of good games to watch here. Penelope, I was wondering, do you have anyone in particular, other than that outdoor game, anyone that you would be thinking of your big game to watch over this break?
I think I'm looking forward to that men's basketball game at Milwaukee because they're trying to return for their spot in the NCAA tournament this year. So I think that's my game to watch.
Yeah, a lot of big Horizon League games, over the break for the Colonials, especially with that Milwaukee one, and they actually begin Horizon League play tomorrow against Green Bay. So good start for them. Yeah, Joey, do you have a game to watch? Anything you're really looking forward to this break? We're gonna have a bunch of time at home, so you're gonna be able to catch up on some good old Colonial sports. Like I just mentioned it, tomorrow's game against Green Bay for the men's basketball team, that'll be huge. But in January, women's basketball versus Youngstown State rivalry, just about an hour away from them. The Colonials went 2-0 against them last year, so hoping to sweep them once again. How about you, Brett? I think for me, it's got to be. I'm a huge hockey guy. I'm a huge puck guy. I think I got to go for men's hockey versus Air Force. I think that one's going to be a really fun one. They played them a few times last year. Be like a redemption shot from those playoff games last year. I'm really looking forward to that one. But there is going to be a bunch of good stuff going on over break, so we're not going to be deprived of any Colonial sports. But Joey, we talked a lot about Christmas lists. I gave you your gift. What do you want for Christmas, man? Oh man. What's the number? If Santa was sitting right here in between us, what do you want for Christmas? He's not here. What if he was? A new camera body, I'd say. New camera body, okay. But yeah, I don't know. I need to upgrade. Little plug for Picks by JJ there. Oh. Brett, hey, how about you? How about you? I just want everyone to have a nice break. I want everyone to be in happy spirits. It's gonna be very fun. But we do want to give a huge shout out to our TV GM, Jess McCullough, as well as our AP for Colonial Sports Center, Nate Fennell. They've put in so much work to this show, as well as RMU-TV as a whole. So we just want to send a huge shout out to both of them, and best of luck in their future endeavors. Honestly, they've done so much work. Nate, behind the scenes a lot of the graphics and stuff. Just making this show really great with all the visual effects, and obviously Jess helping out with RMU-TV. RMU-TV, sometimes we got some technical issues going on, but he's really been a big player for this crew.
We would not be here without either of those guys. This show would not exist if it was not for Jess and Nate. But we'd like to send it away now. Thank you so much for tuning into Colonial Sports Center, and we will see you in January.